Year 3. Welcome to your maths video for Thursday the 11th of February. This is your video if you're somebody who has the Year 2 booklet. So that you're nice and prepared, make sure you've got your booklet and you are turned to page 23. Okay, make sure you've got a whiteboard and a pen for our warm-up too. Okay, our warm-up then, we are going to practice our 2's and our 3 times table. So we're going to go through them first and then I'd like you to pause the video to write them on your whiteboard. So let's start with our 2's. Okay, so I want you counting with me. I'm going to start from 2 and we're going to go up to 24. Are you ready? Clapping them out. Okay, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Okay, I'm sure you remember them. Pause the video, write me your 2 times table out on your whiteboard. Okay, on to our 3 times table then. Now, some of us are amazing at our 3's, some of us need a bit more practice. If you're somebody who needs a bit more practice, you can pause me and you can go and watch some YouTube videos on the 3 times table. They are much better singers than me. Or you could play TT Rockstars to get you warmed up. Are you ready then for your 3's? So clapping them with me. We're going to start with 3 and go up to 36. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36. Okay, pause the video now to write them down. Right then, you should have done your times tables and be warmed up, ready to start our learning today. Now, at the beginning of the video, I said to get your booklet ready. You do need it today, but you haven't got to complete all of it. So, we're on page 23. And as I was having a little look at this page, I thought, oh, those questions in section A are getting really challenging. And I think without me being there and explaining each one at a time, the children might struggle a little bit. So what I'm going to say is have a little look at section A. Any questions you know how to work out and you find really easy, do them for me. Don't worry about doing all of them and don't worry about completing section A. Just do the questions you know and find easy, because today we're going to do something a little bit different instead of section A. So what we're going to do, our learning objective today is, can I practice solving division number sentences? So I've got my divide sign on the board and we're going to look at division today because I know some of us find it a little bit tricky still. So we're going to have a bit of a practice. So I've got the language for division on the board. We've got divided by, share, divisible by, share equally, divide, group, and divide into. Now, there are 2 key words that I'm going to choose. These are the main ones. I'm going to choose share. So when I'm dividing something, I'm sharing it out. And I'm going to choose group. Now, when we've talked about division before, we've looked at grouping, okay? And share and group are the main ones we use because we're seeing how many groups fit into a number. Now, we're going to have a little chat about both of them today, but I know that lots of you always think of sharing when dividing. So you can use sharing or you can use grouping. It will still give you the same answer. But those are 2 of the key words. So let's have a little look. So there are 2 ways. We've got sharing and grouping. And on previous videos, we've talked about grouping. So when we've got 15 divided by 3, we are seeing how many 3's fit into 15. So I'm going to show you the 2 ways of solving it. So if you were to draw this question, you can draw it by grouping, and we've looked at this before. So I'm finding out how many groups of 3 fit into 15. So I've got 1, 2, 3, I know that gives me one group of 3. So I'm going to go underneath now to do my next group. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got 2 groups. 7, 8, 9. 3 groups. 10, 11, 12. 4 groups. 13, 14, 15. 5 groups. So my answer, I know, is 5. So 15 grouped by 3 is 5. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 3. Now, that's an easy way to think of it. So if we were doing that mentally in our heads, we're finding out how many 3's fit into 15. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. We know it's 5. But if you didn't know how to solve this in your head, you're a bit unsure about your 3 times tables, I know lots of you would do this. So I'm going to change my pen colour. This is what you'd do. You'd go, right, I've got 15 divided by 3. So I'm going to draw 3 friends. These are my 3 friends. And I'm going to share out my 15 sweets. And you'd share them equally. So you've got to be fair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so I know lots of you would solve it like that. And you'd count how many sweets each friend would have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Let's check they're all equal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're equal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, they're all the same, so they're all fair and all equal. And I know my answer is 5. So this would be grouping. And we've talked about that lots already. And the bottom one is sharing. And I know you find sharing a little bit easier when it comes to drawing to solve your answer. So each method gives us the same answer. So it doesn't matter which we use. So when I'm going to be solving the next few questions, I'm going to look at sharing because I know you find that easier. Okay, so let's go. I've got 12 divided by 4. So if I'm telling a story, I've got 12 sweets. I share them between my 4 children. I haven't got 4 children, thankfully, no. Okay, so I've got 12 sweets. Here are my 4 children. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got to share them out equally so it's fair. Okay, are we ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So what would my answer be? How many do they each get? Shout it out. Well done if you said 3. And I can see each one, each group, each one of my children has got the same amount. Okay, so it's fair, it's equal. I know it must be accurate. So my answer is 3. To work that out in our head, we are counting in 4s until we get to 12. Count with me if you know your 4s. 4, 8, 12. Oh, the answer's 3. We were right. Okay, the next one. I've got 8 divided by 2. Okay, what story could I have for this one? Okay, I've got 8 cars. I wish I did. I parked them in 2 car parks. How many cars are in each car park? Okay, so here is the car parks. I've got to park my 8 cars now. And I've got to share them between the car parks equally. Okay, so I'm counting to 8, sharing them equally. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So how many cars are in each car park? Shout it out. 4. Well done if you got the right answer. And if we're doing that in our head, we are counting in twos until we get to 8. Are you ready to count with me? 2, 4, 6, 8. So we were right, the answer's 4. Okay, the next one, we've got 55 divided by 5. Now don't worry, I'm not going to draw this one. I think that our video would take a long time if I drew this one. So I've got 55 divided by 5. So I am counting in 5s and I am seeing how many groups of 5. Oh, there's that keyword groups again. So how many groups of 5 fit into 55? So we're counting in 5s until we get to 55. Are you ready to count with me? Remember, when we reach 55, we stop. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. Oh, is my answer 1? No, I had 10, so this one's 11. Well done, if you were counting with me then. Okay. The next one, we've got 120 divided by 10. So we are seeing how many groups of 10 fit into 120. So we're counting in 10s and we're going to stop at 120. Are you ready to count with me? I want to hear you nice and loud. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. So I had 10, 11, 12. So my answer's 12. There we go. Okay. I've got 14 questions on my board. So what you're going to do is you're going to pause the video now so you can see this on your screen, and I'd like you to solve these in your book, please. So you can do some working out on a whiteboard, or you can do some drawing in your book if you need to, but I want the answers written in your book so I can see how amazing you do. Okay, so those are your 14 division questions. Off you go. Okay, now you've done that, I'd like you to complete section B and C, just so we're practicing lots of different math skills as well as our division today. So remember, don't worry about section A. If you want to do it, go ahead, I'll be super proud, but don't worry about it. We're on to section B and C. So going over some tricky questions. Question 5B says, find a quarter of 80. Now, I know if I'm finding a quarter, I'm splitting something into 4 equal parts. And my denominator, my bottom number of the fraction, is 4. So that tells me I've got 4 equal parts. Now, I need to find a quarter of 80. Now, it's going to take you a long time to draw 80 dots, isn't it? So, what my top tip is today, you're going to pretend that you haven't got 80, you've got 8. So you're making that number 80 10 times smaller. So I want you to find a quarter of 8, write out the answer, and then remember, whatever your answer is, you made 80 10 times smaller by taking away the 0. So you need to make your answer 10 times bigger by adding the 0. That's my top tip for that question. So find a quarter of 8. We've made it 10 times smaller, so remember to put the 0 back on. Let's look at a different one. Question 1C. Brian has 12 stamps and Wendy has 7. So Brian's got 12, Wendy's got 7. How many more stamps does Brian have? So we know Brian's got 12, but it's not saying how many does Brian have, it's saying how many more. So if Wendy's got 7, okay, so Wendy's got 7, Brian's got 12. So what you need to do is you need to find the difference. So you need to start from 7 and you need to work out how many jumps it takes me to 12. So you're working out how many more he has. So we put 7 in our head and we count up until we get to 12 to find the answer. Right, this is the last one we're going to look at together. Question 3C. Share 60 apples equally among 3 people. Oh, we're sharing, so we're dividing. Okay, so I'm going to write that division sign there. So we're sharing 60 apples equally, got to be fair, among 3 people. I'm going to draw again. Here's my 3 people. Shall we make those circles look a bit more like people? Let's put some heads on them. Look like potato people. Let's put some arms. Some legs. I'm glad people really don't look like this. There we go, our potato people. Okay, so we've got to share 60 apples. Now, it's going to take us a long time to draw those 60 apples. Could we make that number 10 times smaller? What do we need to do? What do we need to cover up? Have a little think. Well done. If you know, we need to cover up the 0. So what I want you to do is share 6 apples among your 3 people that look like potatoes. Find me the answer. And remember, we've covered the 0 up. We've made it 10 times smaller. So you need to make your answer 10 times bigger by putting that 0 back on. Okay, I'm sure you will do amazing in today's learning. Now, my superstar shout out. Well done to Emily. You are doing fantastic in your maths work. Keep up the amazing work. Can't wait to give lots more shout outs and I will see you tomorrow.